Good morning, everyone. Javier, how are you today?
Maria, I'm good. And you're still keeping social distance, right?
Yes, I'm gonna take my mask away
All
so
right.
you can see you us smiling today. So, how are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. So let's begin today. Uh, Hello, good morning to everybody. Good afternoon and good night or good evening. We do have online buyers from today, from far away, from Korea, from Austria, from Saudi Arabia, Netherlands. I mean, we have a lot of buyers connected today. So
Definitely.
good morning to you guys.
Good morning. Today it's gonna be a great day. We're gonna be working with the Senkoic organization of Cauca. I hope you have a great time with us. Let us know if you have any questions. Remember that you can speak whenever you want. And let's enjoy and let's start the day.
Thank you,
Great.
Maria. Well, as you know, when you get on a caravan, initially you have to, like we did yesterday, we have to see and listen to some people that want to welcome us and want to tell us about what USAID program PMA is doing. So I will invite to present himself and to talk to us our chief of party of the Producers to Market Alliance program from USAID. Mr. Dennis Lesnick is the chief of party of this program. He's been in Colombia already for more than 3 years. And I would love to have you here. Good morning, Dennis. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. You hear me okay?
We listen to you okay, and we see you very well. So please, thank you for being here and saying hello to us.
Okay, very good. So I will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody, and greetings from Bogota, Colombia. As Javier mentioned, my name is Dennis, and I'm the director of the USAID-funded Producers to Markets Alliance program. First of all, this morning, I want to thank everyone for your interest in participating in this activity. I was told that we had approximately 23 buyers yesterday from about 4 different countries. And today, as we were opening up, we saw some faces and heard from some new ones that have logged in for the first time, have never bought Colombian coffee before. And that's great. With this initiative, with the cuppings and the videos and the micro lots being offered, I consider that's a very good starting point for those who want to understand what Colombia has to offer in terms of specialty coffee. Just a brief look now at our program. We are a 5-year USAID economic growth program, which began in March of 2017. And next month, we will be completing 3.5 years of assistance here in country. The program assists, as of right now, and still growing, 55,000 producers working with 6 different value chains. We work with coffee, obviously, cacao, dairy, latex, which is your commercial rubber plantations, and fruits and vegetables. All of these increasing small producer income through increases in farm productivity, access to markets, both national and international, and infrastructure, tertiary roads and productive farm infrastructure. Geographically, we have a presence in 7 economic corridors here in Colombia, all of which are conflict areas with the growing and movement of illicit drugs. That in itself is a constant factor that affects agriculture development in many areas of Colombia, and coffee is no exception. In early 2018, our program teamed up with the National Federation of Coffee Growers in Colombia to strengthen and promote the coffee value chain, which has led to the development of the Coffee for Peace initiative in Colombia. This initiative, or better said, strategy, commercial strategy, has enabled small producer organizations to connect with importers and roasters to consolidate sustainable market relationships. The Coffee for Peace strategy was launched internationally in June of 2019 during the World Cup Fair in Berlin, Germany, and again nationally in October of the same year during the Cafés de Colombia Expo 2019. The Coffee for Peace strategy focuses heavily on both the productivity and quality aspects of the coffee value chain. With good agricultural practices in the field, correct harvesting techniques, emphasis on youth and women in coffee growing, and the 17 steps of on-farm post-harvest practices with the introduction and implementation of our micro-processing activity. Before the end of our program, before we finish up, we want to train 25,000 farmers, in which 9,000 have already been taken the course in microprocessing. I also understand that each of you buyers received the 4-module microprocessing posters. So when you look at those posters, you can see just how many steps, those 17 steps, it takes to make a good cup of coffee. I do not know how many countries, how many coffee growing countries have microprocessing activity at the farm level. But the ongoing approach is to work with as many producers across the coffee sector as possible, emphasizing and focusing on quality as a differentiating factor that will allow the producers and their regional organizations to connect with specialized markets, just like we're doing today with you people at this event. For all of us, the FNC Coffee for Peace program is an important value-added component, which will better position Colombia to offer high-quality specialty coffee to international markets and their end consumers. That was and still is our goal. Everybody knows that Colombia has great coffee and it's traceable coffee. And for those who are interested, there are true to life stories behind all of those coffee beans. So that may be of interest to you and your customers, and you should take advantage of it. In short, this is what our USAID program is doing to promote Colombian coffee. Many thanks to Boot Coffee, Willem and his staff for their hard work and commitment to the marketing of Colombians' coffee. And of course, FNC for accepting the concept and ideas behind the Coffee for Peace strategy. And everybody working together to get Coffee for Peace to where it is today. I thank everybody, and I hope you enjoy the event.
Hey, Dennis,
Take care.
thank you. Thank you very much, Dennis. I think that, Maria, he's been explaining specifically what the program has been doing in order to bring in these activities that we are here today, where we are doing this not only for the producers, but for you buyers. We want you to get together and I mean, delight all the coffee, but to have a clear relationship with the producers, a clear knowledge of how to do. And thank you, Dennis, again for reminding us about these fantastic 17 steps that you received when you received the samples there. Now,
exactly.
Maria.
That is very important, and thank you, Dennis, for your introduction. To guarantee consistency in terms of cup profile, that's what at the end we want in our roasteries and what we want to offer to our clients. Now I want to present Sencoic. Sencoic, it's gonna be the main organization that is gonna be presented today. As you may see in one of those squares, they are in a beautiful landscape in Cauca, in a warehouse full of coffee. So I don't know, Sencoic, if you can open your microphone and say some words, or if we go directly to the video. There we go, Sencoic is unmuted.
So now we're going to go to the video. and then we
Perfecto.
will do the presentation.
So now we're gonna go with the video. I just
Entonces
wanted to
vamos a ir
show
al
you
video
very
y quería
quickly the
mostrarles a
beautiful
ustedes muy
stage in which they
rápidamente
are
el
located.
escenario tan hermoso en el cual ellos están localizados.
Let's go with the video, please. Perfecto.
Yo como NASA, pues agradezco a la madre naturaleza que cada día nos regala el fruto que nosotros siempre hemos podido de tener como familia.
Para mí el café es un sustento diario, mejor dicho, que a través de eso da empleo, el beneficio para uno también, más que todo el empleo que uno le da a la gente también, ¿no? Y igual uno también tiene los beneficios.
Uno por medio del café ayuda a las personas, a la economía, y se entorna dentro de la economía propia, pues se mueve dentro del municipio y dentro de la comunidad.
Cada persona tiene que ser para salir microlote, entonces un fruto que el café tenemos que coger desde el principio los frutos rojos y de ahí lo que es la molida, el lavado. Entonces es un proceso largo tiene, pero como uno quiere ser el amor que tiene el café, entonces tiene que ser ese proceso, entonces pues para que salga el microlote.
Seguir construyendo un futuro de sembrar más café y presentar mejor calidad, y que ellos también que conozcan mi café, cómo es producido, cómo uno saca de aquí del país, y que ellos miren cómo ayudar a las personas y sacar adelante.
Por medio del café he logrado muchas cosas porque poco a poco he ido cada día irme superando como en el manejo del café, y por medio de ello he ido adquiriendo mi casa, he adquirido el vehículo para transportarme, ¿cierto? Porque mi finca es siempre lejana, entonces pues tengo que también tener su vehículo como la moto para movilizarse.
Mediante el café pues he logrado obtener pues como más que todo pues por medio de eso he construido mi vivienda. Ahí voy poco a poco, y pues, la seguridad alimentaria que me ha apoyado el café.
Yo tengo el sueño de sacar a los que tengo, los trabajadores también. Ellos así como yo puedo, entonces también se puede. Entonces es que es mi sueño de compartir.
Sigamos cultivando, aprovechando la materia prima como es la tierra, siempre y cuando teniendo en cuenta nuestras cuencas y los ojitos de agua.
Más que todo cuidar el medio ambiente, no contaminar tanta cosa, y seguir así adelante y luchar lo que uno tiene de sacar al futuro.
El territorio donde producimos el café pues es una clima templada de un resguardo netamente NASA.
La finca es el paisaje, pues allá se encontrarán árboles frutales sembrados como maíz, yuca, plátano, todo lo que tienen para el sustento del hogar, ¿cierto? Para, como se dice, para echarle alguito a la olla, ¿cierto? Entonces ahí se encuentra hasta caña, hasta fibra, para, como dice, la cabulla para sacar fibra, todo eso se encuentra ahí en la finca.
Con el café sí hay la posibilidad de que haya una paz verdadera, porque los jóvenes también están en el mundo del cultivo del café, ya que es una producción rentable y a la vez muy sana.
Okay, now, Maria, you see we're getting now deep into the field.
Yes.
And next we're going to talk to our producers right now. So please do introduce our invitees, Senkoik.
Yes, it was a great video. I felt that I was there in the farms. Very nice seeing these young coffee producers that at the end are the future of coffee production. So I want to introduce Senkoik, that as I was telling you is the organization that is going to be present with us today. So Senkoik, thank you so much for joining. I am very happy to see you here and to establish a direct communication between the buyers and you.
Juan Carlos, good morning. Buenos días.
Bueno, muy buenos días para todos. Un saludo.
We are a cooperative of more than 2,000 producers, and we have been doing a social process within the Department of Cauca, where we have all of these growers. Within this exercise, I want to thank this event and this commercial alliance program in Salud Coffee that has let us connect the different cultures through this event and also through the coffee bean, which is what we're actually doing this process. My name is Hernan Castellanos from the reservoir of Honduras, from Cauca. I'm the son of a single mother who had done a process of education in my exercise through coffee, and which has also made a process of professionalization, and therefore I have a college degree. I am an engineer. From the year 2012, I began the process with the cooperative as a gatherer of coffee within the indigenous territory, and this cooperative has let me grow personally and also professionally. This way, I have been advancing. I had been a technical promoter between 2013 and 2014, and through this process, I also became a coordinator of the technical part within this cooperative. In the year 2018, I advanced a lot more in a professional way, and therefore, I became part of this cooperation of the Department of Coffee. So in order to give dynamics processes to all of these technical processes and all of these certification processes. So therefore, we have grown with this, and with this we have also been able to advance. This is my process, this is my growth, and thank you to all of this exercise that we're doing. So I want to give the microphone, the word here to my partners here of my team, who are here with me. They are the support of this great process that we are doing here in this activity of coffee.
I just wanted to double check.
Bueno,
Are
yo
you
quería-
hearing in English everything?
¿Ustedes pueden escuchar en inglés todo?
Good.
Glad to be here. My name is Elizabeth Meneses. I come from the town of Sucre in Cauca. This is in the south of the department of our beautiful Colombia. Well, I am a daughter of farmers, and I'm very proud to be here of this coffee group. It's a great product. It's a wonderful product. I feel empowered with our coffee. All of my life, I have been here in this field. I grew up in coffee fields. And well, I have been now here 19 years in the topic of peasants and indigenous organizations, and with the Cooperative Central of Indigenous in Cauca. Well, I have been connected with them for 9 years, and we are advancing in the issue of quality, and this cooperative is working very well with this product. Apart from the context and the cultural environment or background, the coffee that they produce is something very unique. So they worked very hard in it, and it's very satisfactory to show the coffees from the different reserves and all the micro lots. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I invite you to get to know our coffee. So now we have our partner of quality, Lucia. Well, I'm glad to be here. My name is Lucia Bencoche Valencia. I'm from the indigenous reservoirs of San Lorenzo de Condón, from the NASA community. I have been here since I was a very little girl in the process of coffee. I am a daughter of indigenous coffee raisers. She does all of this in an organic way, my mom. And this has been a trajectory, this has been a school, a learning process for many years. Now, I have been 12 years here in the quality process, now for 5 years, and 3 years in the indigenous reserve, and 2 years in the cooperative of Cauca. This has been an inclusion process, not only as a young person, but also as a woman, where I have been able to help and transmit the information to the producers to improve their work, and also for me to learn from them, because I feel that if they generate a micro lot process, well, it's because they are so special as they're within their process. Finally, I want to invite all of the participants, the clients, to get to know this process, to go ahead and follow, continue advancing, and getting to know our indigenous coffee, which is a high specialty level.
Hey, back again here to studio. Hello.
Back to the studio.
We are ready to go continue. Okay, thank you, Senkoik, for your presentation. I think we are getting more tastes of coffee right now. But let us present to you some of the buyers that we didn't have the chance to introduce today. So how about if we have Juan Andres around here?
Yes, Juan Andres is part of the craft coffee team. Maybe you can present yourself very quickly. We are not hearing.
Me?
Yes.
Hey everyone, how are you? I'm also part of the craft coffee team. Very happy to have you all of here in this amazing caravan. And please keep enjoying the day, and let's roll the day ahead.
Okay, thank you, Juan Esteban. Salvatore, we have seen you since yesterday, but we haven't had the opportunity to say hello directly to you. How are you today?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, doing really well, thanks. Here in a very warm Amsterdam, it's like 33 degrees, so yeah, lots of people struggling a little bit, but yeah, super happy to be here. I'm a trader with Triboca, copper Q grader, and coffee lover. Colombia is a reason I got into coffee, so it always has a special place in my heart and in my career. So yeah, very happy to be on this call and bringing this coffee to you.
Thank you, Salvador. Thank you, Salvador.
And now, what if we invite Carla Mancio to present herself?
Buenos días, good morning. Me llamo Carla Mancio, soy de Oakland, California. Estoy con Red Bay Coffee y soy tostadora y compradora de café para Red Bay.
Where are you from, Carla?
I am based out of Oakland, California. Where Red Bay is in Oakland, California. So I am a roaster and the coffee purchaser along with a Q grader for Red Bay Coffee.
Great. Thank you for joining, Carla.
Okay, thank you. I want also to say hello to Alejandra Saray. She is part of the team of Producers to Market Alliances. Alejandra, you don't have your camera on. Can you put it on and say hello to us? You can do it in Spanish, don't worry.
Hola Javier, buenos días para todos. Muchas gracias, muy emocionada de estar aquí con ustedes. Para nosotros es un gran placer tener a todos estos compradores, a nuestras organizaciones y muy especialmente a la federación que nos ha apoyado en todo este proceso. Gracias.
Perfect. I don't know if any buyer has any question to Senkoik, or we can follow with the agenda. What do you think, Javier?
Well, I think it's optional. I think that Senkoik is going to be around here for the whole day. Maybe we could continue with the agenda so that things flow according to what we have scheduled. So let's continue with the next video.
Yes, just to tell you, at the end, we're going to have an open space also with Senkoik. If you want to ask any question, I don't know, beneficio, how they work, how they receive the coffee. So any doubt at the end we can solve. So we're going to continue with the next video.
Yo tengo mucho que agradecer lo que nosotros, yo digo, la Madre Tierra, que cada día nos acompaña y nos regala el agua, el sol, el viento, todo eso. Entonces nosotros como NASA, primero hacemos unas ofrendas a la Madre Tierra para que nos fortalezca el fruto que nosotros tenemos.
Comencé con mejorar el café, de pronto escogiéndolo, tratando de entregarlo mejor. Lo llevé por a muchas partes, pero no se veía el beneficio alguno. Entonces escuché lo de Asprole, que de pronto vendiéndolo ahí tenía un valor agregado. Entonces comencé a venderlo así sin afiliarme. Ya después me dijeron que me afiliara y me afilié, entonces ya llega como la bonificación por la venta de nuestro café.
En el tiempo pasado cometíamos muchos errores, teníamos fallas y no sabíamos cómo se hacía un rerré. El rerré era tenía como hacer bien la recolección del café, no dejar regueros por las matas. A medida del tiempo hemos ido aprendiendo.
Yo pues no pude terminar de estudiar, terminar el bachiller, yo solamente llegué hasta séptimo y a mí siempre me daba pesar mis papás que siempre trabajan por nosotros, entonces pues yo salí del estudio, siempre yo me daba ver mucho qué hacía, cómo trazaba, cómo sembraba, todo eso, entonces pues me gustó, entonces comencé a ayudar, a coger.
Nosotros no hemos podido tener como un estudio, una universidad ni nada, pero pues a nuestros hijos sí podemos darle como es estudio porque pues nosotros no tenemos empleo de nada, pero pues con el cafecito nosotros nos defendemos y mi sueño es darle como un estudio completo a mis hijos.
El fruto del café pues, siempre es unos granitos, pero uno lo mira, el amor que tiene, entonces pues ese fruto mismo nos ha regalado y nos ha ayudado y yo estoy muy agradecido por la cooperativa Senkoik yo no sabía que era microlote y todo eso, entonces pues de ahorita pues tengo el apoyo de la cooperativa, cómo hay que ser, porque a veces uno no sabía el proceso del cultivo del café.
Ahora con el proceso organizativo que tenemos con 5i nos ayudan a tener un análisis de suelo o a manejar bien el café, la fermentación, todo eso, darle como un manejo adecuado y cómo abonar.
Si nosotros le sacamos el factor de rendimiento y le hacemos el perfil de taza, va a tener otro precio. Entonces eso como que a nosotros nos anima, o a mí personalmente, ¿no? Me anima a que mi café sea de más alta calidad y que voy a tener una bonificación o de pronto un premio. Nosotros hemos sido afectados por tantas cosas y que nosotros prácticamente en el campo sobrevivimos. Y mi sueño ahora es de que mi finca sea certificada y que de pronto en un futuro una de esas personas que nos compran el café pueda visitar mi finca y yo poderle mostrar y todo lo que uno se hace.
Por medio del café nosotros podemos conseguir la paz porque el café vamos a la hora que sea y lo vendemos y en cambio la coca no se hace sin la marihuana tampoco, toda hora tiene que andar a escondidas. Sembramos más café y entonces así no tendríamos necesidad de pasar miedos. Para mí como mujer significa que las mujeres también podemos salir adelante con este cultivo, no solamente esperar a que nuestros compañeros hagan el trabajo, nosotros como mujeres también podemos y ahí vamos para salir adelante.
Hey, thank you very much for that video. Maria, it's very important what we had just seen is women in the coffee. Women in coffee is fantastic. I mean, women have so much wonderful care of quality, love with the beans and everything. Tell us about a bit more about women in coffee. You are in coffee.
Yes. It's a challenge, I think, for every woman, but we are opening the door just to work as a men. At the end, in the farms, we have been working in different programs to promote equality, gender equality. And I think here in the video, it's a perfect example of how we can see it. And also in Senkoik organization, we can see the copper, it's a lady, and also in the organization, we see a lot of women. Now I want to present Maristela, and I am very happy to see you here. Maybe you can present yourself, please.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Jasmine.
Jasmine, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm from South Korea. I'm owner of the Maristela Coffee Shop. I'm roaster and SCA instructor. So nice to meet you, everyone.
Jasmine, thank you for being
Thank
here.
you.
What time is there right now?
1 hour, 1 a.m. 1
It's 1 hour
a.m.
a.m.
Okay.
So thank you very much to have the space, to be interested in here. We love to see you again. You are a nice buyer. You know perfectly well Cauca. You have been in the auctions before. So we are pleased that you hop on this bus and stay with us. Thank you very much, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine, and say hi, please, to Mr. Park as well. So now I think we can continue with the other video.
Yes, I think we should do it. And in a moment after this video, we will just get closer to the coffee. So please put out the other video on and let's continue. Thank you.
La Central Cooperativa Indígena del Cauca es una empresa del sector solidario perteneciente a las comunidades indígenas del departamento del Cauca. Nace en 1980 como fruto y resultado de las luchas políticas de la organización indígena en el marco del Consejo Regional Indígena del Cauca, CRIC. Entre las dinámicas económicas en nuestras comunidades indígenas, el café ocupa hoy un renglón importante dentro de la economía familiar y es allí donde la cooperativa entra a intervenir ese espacio económico con el propósito de, primero, apoyar las familias indígenas en la parte productiva, segundo, en la parte organizativa y en la parte comercial, sacando su producto a los niveles internacionales.
Con nuestras comunidades partimos de un punto básico que es la conservación del medio ambiente y el uso y las costumbres de nuestros territorios y de nuestras comunidades. Todo esto lo hacemos con el objetivo de que los productores se apropien del proceso que llevamos de comercialización de café a nivel internacional. Este ejercicio también nos permite realizar procesos de trazabilidad desde las zonas y esa trazabilidad nos permite también llegar al cliente con mucha más claridad de nuestros productos y de nuestra calidad del café.
Queremos llegar al cliente pues directamente con el objeto de minimizar un poco el tema de costos para ser un poco más competitivos, pero sobre todo para tener ese relacionamiento con ellos, de tal forma que conozcan de nuestros procesos, que conozcan de nuestra comunidad. Comencé con 80 productores, al momento tengo 429 productores asociados a ASPROLE, que quiere decir Asociación de Pequeños Productores de Café.
El apoyo ha sido muy grande de la Central Cooperativa Indígena del Cauca, ya que es nuestra cooperativa, porque está direccionada por 17 autoridades, estamos en 6 municipios a nivel del Cauca con 3.093 productores. Nos sentimos orgullosos de tener nuestra Central Cooperativa, ya que es una plataforma de lucha también que hace parte de la economía de nuestras comunidades y ha sido un direccionamiento que han venido haciendo desde muchos años.
Pues es importante debido a que son comuneros de resguardos indígenas, una estructura propia, la economía propia del cual se viene fortaleciendo. Bueno, es fuerte en la medida que es colectivo, el tema de la colectividad, en donde hay participación, en donde la familia pues a través de la cooperativa y de la asociación y a través de la unidad, como son los principios del proceso organizativo, para seguir trayendo más familias y seguir avanzando en el tema de la economía propia.
Hemos venido haciendo un proceso de escuela, de formación, partiendo de buscar jóvenes de nuestros propios territorios y que a partir de ahí nos empiecen a apoyar dentro de ya de los ejercicios de análisis de café en nuestro laboratorio.
Hace cerca de un año se hizo un proceso de microprocesadores, la cual eso se fundó para los productores. Dentro de esas capacitaciones vamos directamente hacia ellos, hacemos escuela con ellos, empezamos desde la recolección, la fermentación, el despulpado, el secado, pues que son pasos muy importantes a la hora de una catación. Creo que ese proceso de microprocesadores ha sido muy importante porque ha hecho que la calidad de los productores cada día vaya mejorando, no solamente con productores sino con los acopiadores, que digamos que es el primer filtro que tenemos dentro de la cooperativa.
Y que estamos haciendo esfuerzos grandes, primero para sostener una productividad de un café con alta calidad, segundo de conservar nuestras particularidades sociales, nuestras particularidades culturales, y que creo que enmarcan quizá tal vez un poco también el contexto que hoy nuestro país está viviendo, en mitigar todos esos factores sociales y todo en pro de un bienestar y una paz que nuestro país se lo merece.
Good to have to be back here in the studio, and you know, you were just telling me something that some people are still think that this is not an online activity. So I will invite you to interchange maybe questions or conversations. Jeff, you were asking us for yesterday about the producers. So I would like you, if you can address any question to Senkoik. Remember that today we are in Cauca. We are in the Senkoik organization. So that today we have to focus specifically in Senkoik. It is different organizations from the two that we're going to visit tomorrow and the next day. But here we have them. So please, Jeff, if you have any questions, or just say hello to them in order to, before we got into the cupping session.
Sí, bueno, buenos días. Yo no vi voy a poner gallery view, ¿dónde están ellos? Bueno, eran Elizabeth.
Felipe, could you put Senkoik in the other
Screen?
Yo lo...
Okay. Yes, Jeff. They are going to set you here.
Ahí están.
Yeah,
Sí,
there
yo lo vi.
they are. Senkoik Hernan is the manager right there. So please, if you want, do address any question that you might have.
Bueno, mucho gusto primero y gracias por estar aquí con nosotros. Es un privilegio grande a tener este tiempo con ustedes, a conocer. Ya hemos catado sus cafés y entonces conoce algo de Senkoik a través del sabor de los cafés, pero es bien importante a conocer exactamente quién está atrás de cada café, quién está eh, produciéndolo. Estamos felices que tenemos esta oportunidad a verle. Eh, Lástima no podemos ir a Cauca ahorita porque el COVID, pero eh, ojalá pronto podamos estar juntos y tomar un cafecito juntos físicamente. Hoy creo que vamos a tomar uno virtual. Yo quería preguntar a ustedes que han tenido algún impacto en el proceso de la cosecha de COVID o que no realmente ahí no hay tanto problemas, obstáculos con que sale de este COVID.
Gracias. Thank you, Jeff. Hernán, from Sencoic, ¿adquiriste la pregunta? ¿Entendiste la pregunta?
Sí,
Claro que te la tradujeron de español a español.
So, thank you very much for these words, Jeff. So for us, it's a great pleasure to have you here with us. And further on, when all of this gets better and when things are safer now, so it would be good that you come ahead and visit us in our farms and our premises here. So with the question of the COVID, yes, it has affected us internally. This issue of being able to be the gathering centers of coffee has been very difficult, but also transporting this coffee to the central part has been very, very difficult. So we have been delayed. The costs have risen here. The cost of productions have risen, and the general logistic exercise has really risen. So the times are affecting us in here because with the working process here that we have as a team, we cannot be able to do the extension work that we used to do before. But, you know, we have been advancing little by little with all of these difficulties, and therefore we're trying to comply and to fulfill everything with our people here so we can be able to sell this coffee in an international scale. And therefore, you know, we want to get there with better prices and better benefits within this exercise. You know, for these producers that really,
Gracias, Hernán.
really need this.
Jeff, ¿alguna otra
So Jeff,
pregunta?
do you have any other
o quiere
questions or?
I'm going to switch to English, sorry, Jeff, so that we can address all the buyers. So,
Vamos a
Jeff,
ir
thank
ahora
you for
en-
the question. Thank you for the question. I don't know if you have
You're
another
welcome.
one,
You're welcome.
or maybe Jasmine.
Um,
Do you have any question for your known friends in Senkoik?
Perfect. So before we start with the discussion of the coffees, as we spoke this morning, the idea is that you can brew the coffee of Jesus Gildardo. Jesus Gildardo from Sencoic. We want to brew the coffee, enjoy it, and then in 5 minutes discuss the different coffees.
Okay, so you please do start brewing your coffee so that we can start doing some discussions about coffee. David, are you going to show how to brew it, or I see you there with your coffee pot in your hand?
I don't think I need to show. I don't think I need to show any of the buyers on the call how to brew coffee, but I wanted to show off my mug here and my brewer. So I'm going to start brewing mine right now. I got the water boiling here on the floor, and I'm going to start making a mess in here. Hopefully not too big a mess.
Thank you, David. I was curious about it. Well, that's it. So meanwhile, you're brewing the coffee. Maybe there are some things that Willem will invite you to come in and join us, or are you going to brew the coffee?
Or any other buyer that wants to say hello, to ask any question, just feel free.
How many minutes do you need to brew the coffee, David?
I think that the idea would be we just brew it, and we can also transition to the cupping section, and the moderators can also start to give some words just about the coffees we're cupping today and kind of move to that section.
Okay.
As
You know,
beginning to
you know
brew
what
the
I
coffee.
would also like to do, David, if you may, Maria, maybe Hernan and Senkoik people might have a question. Hernan, do you have any question for buyers? Do you have any doubts that you want to share with us? Meanwhile, our buyers are brewing the coffee before we just start the cupping session?
Yes, I just wanted to also say it's very important, the traceability from the producer to the client. But for me, it's also important to tell the producers who the buyers are, how do they brew the coffee, how do they roast the coffee. So, Hernan, if you have any question, just feel free to ask.
We are highly interested in to be able to know which are the preferences and the different qualities of coffee. Basically, this is it. And for us, it's been interesting to work with this and to work with these type of coffees.
So buyers, if you have
Entonces,
something specific
compradores,
that
si
you're
tienen algo
looking for,
específico que ustedes estén
several
buscando,
of you know Cauca coffees.
Sobre los
Several
cafés
of
de-
you may not.
Entonces, de pronto algunos de
But you
ustedes
have
puedan conocer
already
los cafés de Cauca, otros
seen
no.
Cauca coffees, so
Algunos de ustedes ya han
can
visto
you,
los cafés de
help us
Cauca,
with the
así que
answer
si
for
nos
Hernan?
pueden
One
ayudar
of
con
you
una
guys,
pregunta
thank you.
de alguno de ustedes, muchísimas gracias.
Who dares?
Soy Sara, soy de Los Ángeles. ¿Le puedo hablar en español?
Claro que sí.
Sí, hola, ¿cómo están?
Hola, Sara.
Bueno, para mí me gusta mucho Senkoik, es uno de mis favoritos. Bueno, todos los cafés de Colombia, vamos a decir que están así. Pero lo que yo siempre busco para mí es una taza, por supuesto, siempre clean, vamos a decir. Y la otra cosa es que tenga mucho sabor.
We want to look for something with a lot of flavors, something very interesting, something that is kind of very well organized with flavors, basically all the body and all of that. So it's basically, that's a good coffee.
Thank you, Sarah. And I think
Sara,
here in the
muchísimas
coffees of
gracias. Entonces,
Senkoik,
yo
we
creo
have
que en
found
los cafés de Senkoik
that
nosotros nos
complexity that you're talking about, that acidity, that body, and the sweetness that characterize the coffee from Cauca as well. I don't know if other buyer wants to tell or answer the question from Senkoik.
I am keep on curious in Jasmine. You have bought Cauca coffees, right? And you are buying Cauca coffees. Again, how do you like them? What do you find there in these Cauca coffees?
Can I answer?
Sure,
Please,
Carla.
you, Carla.
Within the last year, Red Bay has introduced a single origin Colombia coffee that has actually now surpassed all of our other coffees, and we started this SKU or this new profile with like. So, you know, people really, we develop our coffees a little bit more. We live a little bit in a more developed zone, if you would. So we search for anything that is going to provide a little bit of a heavier body, deeper caramelized fruit notes, and chocolate notes, and just every time it just produces a solid, deep, full, well-balanced cup. So that's, you know, to see it work its way up to the ranks of the SKUs that we already have. And now it's like the top seller with one of our other SKUs. It's really nice to know that there's so much hard work going behind it and that people here appreciate it as well.
Thank you very much, Carla. Thank you for your comments. It's wonderful. I wonder again if there is some more concepts or inquiries or comments that you will want to say before we're going to we will hand over to Jaime. We are going to hand that also to Juan Sebastian, right?
Yes, I think Jeff wants to say something,
Hey,
so
good.
feel free, please.
Jeff,
Ya,
please.
sí, en respecto a la pregunta de Hernán sobre los sabores y que estamos buscando como compradores, de parte mío puedo decir que más que todo estoy buscando cafés que tiene, como dijo Sara, un complejidad, un rango de sabores que están bien presente, bien limpio, bien articulado. Hay muchos cafés que tienen ácido cítrico y puede ser que en todo Cauca puede encontrar, y pues todo Huila, todo Nariño, todo Colombia puede encontrar cafés que tienen un sabor cítrico, una acidez más o menos fuerte, pero la diferencia para mí, entre un café muy buena con muy alto valor que tiene como algo, como dijo Lucía, maravilloso, ah, es que un café que tiene también sabores que no están solo cítricos, que son de acidez málica, como manzana, como durazno, como albaricoque, y un café que tiene este sabor es balanceado y muy claro y también que no tiene otros sabores negativos que sale de mal manejo, como sabores de madera o de algo que es un poco agrio, amargo. Entonces, un café que tiene los sabores bien preservados, bien ah, claro, articulado y sin las distracciones o los otros sabores que pueden venir cuando el café está mal secado, por ejemplo, un sabor que está un poco anuezado o sabe de madera. O sea, este es que voy buscando y creo que Cauca y el lugar en que ustedes están ubicados tienen la potencial producir cafés con un rango tremendo de sabores ricos.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, wonderful, because I think for Hernan, this is a wonderful answer. I mean, you got the coffee, you got the region, you have to do it properly, so Jeff will get it from you.
Exactly. Very, very good point from Jeff. I agree that we're looking here for a diversity of flavors in the coffee and also a very clean cup. And we're going to discuss the coffees right now.
Yes.
So I want to invite Jaime Duque, that is going to be one of the leaders of the discussion, and also Juan Sebastián Rivera from the Craft Coffee team that will lead the discussion. Again, feel free to say everything that you want to say during the cupping. Feel free to ask any questions to Lucia, the cupper from Sencoic. She has been cupping all the coffees, so she has a lot of knowledge as well from the coffees. So Jaime, Juan Sebastián, thank you so much for joining, and please take in your hands the discussion of the coffees.
Thank you so much, Maria and Javier. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. I'm happy to see you here again. As Maria said, my name is Juan Rivera, and I'm part of the Craft Coffee team. And today we're going to talk about the samples from the second session about Sencoic samples. Please have your notes ready and get your notes out. Today we will be with Mr. Jaime Duque, a friend, who is part of the Coffee for Peace program here in Colombia, to be with us in the discussion. So please, Jaime, if you could introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Really nice to be here to share with you. I'm really happy to see very well-known faces and good friends. So the idea is to explain a very good time in these 50 minutes ahead. So I am trying, we are trying to get the Jesus, the grower, the owner of the Jesus Leonardo Fernandez. So he had a difficulty with his internet at the far level. They have a Sencoic technician trying to connect, and I am talking with him, but we are trying to share his idea. If you have a question during this cupping fun session. So we are developing the Jeff idea yesterday. So enjoy this cupping.
I mean, do you have your cup right now? I already have here my Blackburnian Warbler mug. I'm so happy to share with you this coffee. I would like to invite Lucia from Sencoic. Lucía, si nos escuchas, te puedes presentar, si nos puedes hablar un poco de la calidad de los cafés, es todo tuyo el micrófono.
Están llamando para hablar del café. Este café de Jesús.
Está en Sencoic.
Hola a todos nuevamente. En presentación a nuestros cafés, vamos a presentar el café de don Gildardo Fernández, del municipio de Caldono, del Guardia Indígena San Lorenzo de Caldono, indígena caficultor. Es un productor que se ha esforzado por mejorar los procesos de calidad.
It's a coffee with a citric flavor. It's a coffee. It's a very clean coffee. It's a general coffee. And I think this has been one of the best here in the cup up to now. I'm very proud because this has been a very good producer within the school, within the techniques, within the quality and technique qualities. So, Lucia, thank you very much for your comments.
I hope you all guys, you have
Espero
had
que
the
todos
opportunity to
ustedes
do
hayan
this
tenido la
coffee.
oportunidad.
First of all, cheers. First of all of you. We
Cheers.
will start, cheers. We will start talking about Don Jesus Gildardo coffee. So please feel free to unmute your microphones. People, the person who want to talk about the coffee, please just unmute your mics and please talk with us. I want to say something about this coffee first. Lucia said some word that we use. It's a product here in Colombia that is called panela. And for me, this coffee is a lot of panela. It's sugar cane with honey notes, a little bit of apricot notes, really good acidity. So I don't know if David want to share with us your comments. And I say it again, feel free to unmute your mics and talk with us.
Who's going to speak first? Alex, you were asking about the coffee, man. I think you brewed it. Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, no, I would love to. So I really enjoyed this coffee. As I was tasting it now, I was kind of like adding to my notes from when we originally cupped it. I was getting some like malta notes, so kind of like a malty flavor to it, very, very heavy chocolate. But then it still kind of retained a lot of those cherry, tangerine, and plum notes that I was getting before. And I could definitely see that panela as well. So that's kind of one of my favorite. Anytime I'm talking about like sugar brownie, panela is kind of like my go-to for a lot of that sugar brownie notes. So very tasty coffee.
So I have a Don Jesus in front of me. So from Jesus, I know it's a very good view, but we are trying to connect him. So he want to say hello, Don Jesus. Hable, preséntese si quiere, bien pueda. A ver si lo alcanzan a escuchar. Sorry. Se desconectó, sorry. So, Don Jesús, ¿me escucha? Don Jesús. Okay, so that's I am checking the cupping results, made it in Cropster. So the score was 84.89. So that's I really surprised me. To all coppers did that 10 point in clean and sweetness results. That is a beautiful one. So it maybe Jasmine, talking about what did you feel in this coffee, Jasmine?
I compared this coffee had raisin, jujube, and roasted almond flavors. I can feel citrus acidity and green grape. So very sweetness coffee because of butter and vanilla. So I could enjoy this coffee. Very good.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. And Jeff, this was your idea. I want to hear your comments about this coffee.
Sí, Juan. Bueno, salud.
Salud.
Este café fue uno de mis favoritos ¿hablo en inglés o en español?
Como quieras. Yo creo que en inglés para los demás.
English, it's gonna be better.
Okay, so I'll say in English, and then maybe I'll say something in Spanish for Hernan and the team. This was one of my favorite coffees.
Voy a presentarlo en un momentico y ustedes les saludan.
Listo. Vamos a escuchar de él.
Qué pena, Jeff.
No.
I'm trying to connect it.
Sí, mejor escuchamos las palabras de él.
Sí, mucho gusto. Le habla Jesús Ricardo Hernández. Y estoy llamando desde Cauca, Colombia.
¿Cómo fue la producción de ese café? Don Jesús, ¿cómo produjo ese café?
Sí.
Okay. No, go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it was one of the standouts for me, not just in this table, but in the entire set. I found a lot of complexity. That's what I love most. There's a lot of acidity, very, very bright and multi-dimensional. There was citrus, but there was also, I found notes of apricot and red plum and blood orange. I thought the sweetness was good. I thought the cleanliness and clarity of flavor was very good. And a word that people have been using a lot more lately, impact. I thought the impact was high on this coffee. It's very, not only was it flavorful, but the flavors were strong and present and easy to grapple with, from hot to cold. There was nothing distant or or dilute about it. It was the flavors were intense, but also very, very well expressed and articulated, not muddled. So sí, para don Jesús y los otros, Hernán, este café fue un tesoro, de verdad. Fue un café con complejidad tremendo, con sabores de ciruela, de naranja para mí, granada también, albaricoque.
Basically, it was a very good coffee. I'm very happy here to have it. So thank you, Jesus, for your work, for producing something so delicious. Tengo unos comentarios.
Story about Jesús. Don Jesús
y compartir
was
una
born in
historia
a
de
family
Jesús.
of coffee
Don
growers.
Jesús was.
His father was a coffee grower, and as a kid, he helped him a lot on the farm. At the age of 13, Don Jesús was fully responsible for his first coffee lot with 10,000 plants. His focus is in specialty coffee, and this is why every day he controlled all the process on the farm. He lived on the farm with his wife and his daughter. They help him on the farm. It is a family matter. It's a short story about Don Jesus. Go ahead, Juan.
Excellent, Jaime. So
move on in the second one.
Yeah, thank you so much to Jeff and everyone for this first sample. And Jaime, if we could continue with the second sample.
And maybe guys, just one thing is have Felipe put up the slide notes too as you're talking about the coffees. I know he's got some of those ready to go, so you can just ask him to pop them up. There you go. Yeah.
So we're gonna
Yes.
move.
Please.
We're gonna move into the Ana Florida campus sample. It's a 0022.
We're going now with the PG.
PG,
40,
sorry.
41 blend 2 Asprole productores.
Asprole, sí, cierto. Asprole. Sorry. So please, Tristan, please tell us something about this coffee. What did you feel? Tristan?
Tristan may not be on the call right now. I actually don't see him here, so
okay,
maybe call on somebody else.
Maybe Scott, please move on. Scott is there?
Yeah.
Okay. How's going,
So
Scott?
the blend 2 Asparole. So yeah, that was one of my. Actually, that was the top scoring coffee out of that lot. Had a great nose, very sweet, a lot of tea, black tea notes out of it. And in the cup, I mean it was very soft, floral, sweet. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, good. Other comment from Emily, please. Or what did you feel with these coffees as Prolet productores? Emily, are you there?
She might be on mute, but I see a couple of people at the ready. Maybe Johannes, maybe you want to comment on this coffee. I don't know.
I really loved the coffee. It was also one of my favorites on the table. I thought it was really a lot of aroma, nice flavors. The body was really nice, and I thought it had a really nice balance as well. And I thought the table was totally different to the others, so I liked the table a lot, but this one stood out for me.
Good.
And just one thing, guys, sorry to keep butting in about, but this is a lot. I believe it has 105 35 kg bags, so it's a larger lot of coffee, which is a nice thing because there's lots of it to go around.
I'd like to chime in if possible. This was one of our favorites too. Tim and I agreed on this for once. Normally we disagree on coffees, but I like this for a lot of reasons. It's kind of the classic flavor profile of Cauca. Big, sweet, juicy, round balance, a lot of cocoa, cherry, and sort of like what David said, I think a huge benefit to a coffee that cups this well is the size of the lot. I think typically we see this quality in smaller lots, 5, 7, 8, 9 bags, whatever. And I think this is sort of the sweet spot of specialty because it's extremely profitable for the producer, and it has such great mass appeal that this is a very forward way of doing specialty coffee. I think is having these nice big blends that they're really versatile, have an awesome cup profile, and people love them. And quite frankly, we love them because doing one batch of 105 bags is much easier than doing 25 batches of 5 bags. So
that's
my thoughts.
Yeah, go ahead, Wouter.
Yeah, sorry to break in and hate to break it to you guys, but this was not one of the large blends. This lot actually has 12 35 kilogram bags only. So I think that's the message to the buyers.
Oh.
You have
My
to be.
notes are wrong.
No,
Sorry,
the 105 bags are for blend 3 and 4. So we will be discussing them later on.
That's the Las Mercedes in San Francisco. Yeah, my apologies, guys. I thought this was also a larger lot.
So does that mean we're gonna have to fight for this lot? So I also thought that this was a great cup as well. It was one of my high ones. Just I found a great overall balance of fruits and nuts, that complexity that I look for, and that word juicy. If I put juicy in there, that means that it's so lovely to experience in the mouth. It has great mouthfeel. So I really like this cup as well.
For sure. Let's just move into the next one. Manuel Jose Medina. So, Juan, go ahead.
No, Jaime, we're going to the PG22, Ana Florinda Campo.
Okay, perfect.
Ana Florinda Campo, and maybe Angelique Roa. I don't know if she's here. If you could share with us your comments.
Kevin, please, Kevin, tell us about this coffee.
You know what, guys? I think what would be good to do is let's just call on the people that we see clearly on the phone. Maybe our list today isn't going to work as well. So let's just call on the folks that we see on the phone for these coffees. Maybe Reed. I don't know if you cupped and liked sample number 22, PG22, but would love to hear your comments. Oh, Reed's grabbing his now.
Yep. So to kind of give you guys an insight on how we did it at True, with the samples that were provided, we kind of thought we had enough for just one person to really cup the pre-roasted samples, and then Jackson and I were given the opportunity to cup afterward when Scott was able to do some sample roasting. So we had the opportunity to kind of go around and while Jackson and I were still rocking out in production, we got to quickly go around and only do aroma for the cupping sessions. And then, so we have the 8 we did were kind of like the breakdown from what we liked aromatically, and then the ones that Scott kind of rated himself and put out on the table for us. So 22, I actually unfortunately don't have notes for, so I apologize for that. But we do have notes for this coffee that we're drinking with everybody, if you wanted to hear those by chance.
Yeah, do it.
Okay. I got Jackson with me here too, so I'll let him start since I've already chatted a bit.
For 43, hi everyone. For 43, the coffee that we're enjoying with everyone is I got a really nice honeydew melon, a nice cherry, a very pleasant plum. The acidity pops on my mouthfeel and is very juicy. The body was highly juicy, and I had a really nice, good, smooth raspberry finish with this one. I was really enjoying it this morning.
Yeah. For me, I kind of broke down like it says hello at the center of the tongue, just kind of a nice greeting. Comes alive. I felt like kind of in the back of the 2 sides of the tongue. I have a creamy caramel mouthfeel, a nice warm lingering aftertaste, sugared grapefruit acidity, some pink lemonade, milk chocolate, and a tart red fruit. So overall, really loved it. It was a nice thing to put through the Chemex today. So definitely happy to enjoy it all with all of you.
Very good. So I want to hear something about the coffee from Senkoik. And I want to invite to Lucía. Lucía, ¿cuál es el perfil general de los cafés que están trabajando en Senkoik? Todos esos cafés, estos 10 lotes que cataron, ¿cuál es su observación acerca de los cafés? ¿Qué les diría usted a todos los compradores que están catando el café de Senkoik?
So in general, Basically, these producers are from the indigenous reserves and from the San Lorenzo, the Candondo, and Santander de Quirichao. Basically, the profiles that are managed here in Sencoid are panela, chocolate, caramel, some notes of raspberries and strawberries, and sometimes we find some very exotic coffees like with herbal teas and florals and sometimes a peach flavor. So in general, of the 10 producers or of the 10 lots that are right here on the table, they have different characteristics of the Cauca profile and the characteristic of the indigenous communities. So thank you, Lucia. Very interesting.
Juan, move
So
on the next one. Sample.
Okay, perfect. So let's talk about sample PG18 is from Manuel Jose Medina. And I would like to hear from Scott Peterson. Scott, if you could share with us your ideas of this coffee.
So 22. Yeah, I thought this showed well. The nose wasn't quite as present, but I had a good initial impression on the cup. Yeah, had good floral notes, honey, pleasant sweetness, and I didn't put it. I don't think I put it down on the propster notes, but I wrote mead / question mark. It was just kind of like a fermented honey something. I liked, it was another one of my top scoring cups on this one.
Okay, thank you so much. We are talking about PG18, Manuel Jose Medina. So please, I don't know, maybe Jasmine from Maristela. I saw Jason, Mr. Park. He scored high. He put a high score. I don't know if you could talk about this sample, Jasmine.
You are in mood. Jasmine, you are in mood.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
We hear now.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Can you hear? Sorry. I really like this coffee because this coffee had pine cream, raisin, prune, milk chocolate sweetness, and roasted onion flavor. It has a super clean aftertaste. Also, it has a very sweet orangey acidity. I like silky and smooth body. So I can really enjoy this coffee. So I scored high.
Thank you so much. And I want to hear Alex. Alex, if you could share your ideas of this coffee, please.
Yeah, por supuesto. So this one, I really got a lot of the kind of green notes to it. Some green grape, green apple, kind of had that really nice, bright, popping acidity. And it definitely had like this orange aftertaste that I quite enjoy. So for me, it was like heavy on the complex acidity for this particular coffee. So I like that. In the dry, I was getting kind of some baking spices, more of the dark chocolate. So it was interesting kind of seeing how in the dry you had more of these cloves and dark chocolate notes, but then on the actual, when I was tasting it in the cup, getting more green grape, green apple, and those kind of flavors.
So I want to add something. Meanwhile, we are cupping, we are discussing about the sample in a sitting room. It's very easy to talk about the sample. So I am trying to share information about post-harvest. So we have this is very interesting coffee. The grower put the coffee 12 hours into the mucilage. We'll have 12 hours picking full ripe cherries like a purple grapes color, sorting green beans by floating in water using a microprocessor techniques, and the pulping without water, and selected the best bean. The coffee left in the fermentation tank 12 hours fermentation, and it's possible that this beautiful acidity and some specific characteristic, and also the clean cap was the result in 80 in the average. The Cropster gives 84.41.
Thank you, Jaime. And I'm seeing here Barren Wood from Wood Coffee. I don't know if Barren would like to say something about this coffee or about all the samples. So please feel free, Barren, to share with us your feelings.
Hello.
Hello, Barren.
I did not cup the samples. I did not have the time, but I'm sure, because I cupped Sankoik before, also some months this year in the Sankoik place on Sunday. I'm sure that they are very good coffee. These are very good coffees. We sold two coffees very successfully from Sankoik 1.5 years before. Excellent espresso coffees, single estate espresso coffees, for which people really like to come back. So yeah, this is really a very good catch if you can buy such a coffee.
Thank you so much, Barren. So let's continue with the next sample. The next sample is PG8, and it's called Blend 4 San Francisco. And I want to hear from Tim from Taboca his thoughts about this sample. So Tim, please.
Tim had to jump off, so that's where. Oh
no, I'm
Tim,
here.
You're back. Okay.
Yeah. So, how many bags are there of this lot? Blend 4. Is this the one that's 105 bags?
105 bags.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not quoting any more volumes.
That is a beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, this was among my favorite coffees of all of them. It's not surprising for us because we have favored the coffees of Sankoik all along. We feel like they have exceptional capabilities to analyze their quality. We've been really impressed with their cupping team many times when we visited them. Their calibration with us is excellent, and also they have an ability to discuss internally amongst them and disagree wholeheartedly on coffees, and that's a sign of a good panel. And these things really matter because when you're having someone be the filter for your coffee, you need them to be able to have open discourse amongst the cupping team. And this includes both the younger cuppers and the more experienced cuppers. So we buy a lot of Sankoik coffee. A lot of it goes to Red Bay, who likes the coffee very much, as Carla had said earlier. But this one I gave over 88 points. And, we cupped all these coffees blind and we put it in. I don't know if it's actually an 88-point coffee, and it's a pretty big lot. So, where it ends up going, I'm not sure. But this was, a coffee that just kept coming back to me with lots of sweetness and flavor. The aftertaste on it was exceptional. And oftentimes you'll have a coffee where you start out and you notice the acidity, the fruit, the cane sugar, the panela in the coffee, but then when it finishes so clean and consistent, it really solidifies the cup. So I thought this was an excellent coffee, and I hope that people find a good home for it. So
My understanding about coffee, this is a beautiful lot. It's not too big size. It's a medium size lot. So we are focused not only in a micro lots, but also in a medium sized lot that is a perfect for some of you guys. So that lot I am reviewing the different comments about this coffee that is beautiful, that is solid, that Tim is saying, and it's one of when I check the app the structure information, it's one of the more consistent in all comments made in by you guys.
For me, it's surprising to see this kind of size. Oh, this lot is 105, 35 kilogram bags, and a lot with these characteristics, with that size, it's amazing. I think so. I want to hear from Carla. Carla, if you had the opportunity to have this lot, so please, if you want to share with us your comments.
Yeah, of course. I thought that this was a very juicy, fruit-forward cup with quite a bit of stone fruit. I think I got a cherry, something related to a berry, but anything kind of like that is juicy, kind of pops, and then fades away really nicely into those deeper notes, the panela, that caramel, turron. I think that looking at it from a roaster's perspective, you're like, oh, you have a lot to offer. And so I think it's a really great coffee. I think that looking at it, it would be a very structured coffee on its own. So it has a very nice, complex experience from the beginning to how it finishes. I'm a smooth-bodied finish kind of person. Luckily, I get to work for a company that aligns with that as well. And so I think that this coffee has quite to offer in the sense of being able to do that.
And also,
so much. So Jaime, I don't know if we could give an example.
I want to say my last comment about this lot. It's interesting how Senkoik is moving in that way, because all people is looking for a 3-4 bucks. So this cooperative is looking for a medium business, medium size of lots, and try to get more value for you. Okay, move on to the next one.
So the next one is the sample PG40 blend 3 Las Mercedes. I'm seeing here Sara. Sara, please share with us your thoughts.
Yeah, this was definitely one of my favorite on the tables. It was the blend number 40, right? It's blend 3, Las Mercedes. I mean, I just gave it pretty good points overall on the aroma with baking, spices, chocolate. It was definitely an overall favorite on the table for us. I cupped with 3 other people with me, and they just, we found a lot of lactic and citric acids kind of blending together, balancing really nicely. And once you let it sit for a while, it's nice to have a coffee that kind of just keeps going. And this was one of those for us, for just, again, an overall good body. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yo quisiera invitar. Okay, go ahead. Yo quisiera invitar Lucía, el lote 3, la mezcla Las Mercedes. ¿Cuáles los resultados tuyos de ese lote para compartir?
Well, this is a lot from the indigenous reservoir, Joaquina from Las Mercedes, from the township of Caldono. It's more or less at an elevation at 1,600 to 1,700 meters of altitude. This is a coffee where we found caramel, chocolate, a little bit of spices, some citric notes to orange and floral orange, and citronelle. Es muy
reading
interesante.
some comments that you
Estaba
guys
mirando algunos de
did
los comentarios que algunos de ustedes
compared with
hicieron.
the Lucia did. So, and I see many similar characteristics: chocolate, berries, herb, juicy, mandarin, orange, melon that you are saying. So that's a really interesting lot as well.
And the last comment I would like to hear is from Cody. Cody, if you want to share with us your comments, so please.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this was one that we were really excited to see that was a bigger lot with a lot more availability to share and a lot more availability for us to bring in. And just super nicely balanced. I would echo a lot of what's been said already, but really nice like malic acidity, some nice like citrus between like blood orange, tangerine, some deeper kind of like brown sugar, marzipan, and like almond notes. And yeah, it's really nice, vibrant, appley, balanced coffee all around. We really liked it a lot.
Cody, how's it going? I want to hear about you. You were in the Sencoid level. You were visiting Sencoid.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think about Sencoid? What did you see?
I think it's great. It was cool seeing some of the folks again today, and I think from the Calca coffees that we've purchased so far, a lot of them have come from Sync Week, and this was probably one of my favorite tables of the 4 sessions, and across the board, I really love just like I thought there was a lot of like resounding like appley qualities, plum, stone fruit, and just really great balance across the table, and the organization itself is great as well. And yeah, we've been super excited to bring in a number of coffees from them over the last couple of years.
Thank you, Cody. Very good comment. So moving.
May I say something as well?
Sure, Timothy.
How are you?
Go ahead. How are you?
I wanted to re-highlight a comment that Tim made earlier. We had the privilege to visit Senkoik as well. Frankie and I did, and we walked away with the exact same comment, which is their quality team has the ability to discuss not only amongst themselves but with buyers as well. And I thought that was just very impressive, and so it gave me a great deal of confidence when the Senkoik table came around. I thought it could be a great cupping experience, and again, just as Tim said, we have a lot of faith in their operations and their processes. So just wanted to mention that.
Thanks, Timothy. Very good words.
Don Jaime, if I may have a moment, I'm looking at a question here from Ryan. I think we can go ahead and ask the question right away to Senkoik, right? I'm not sure the guys from Senkoik if I should ask it in English and they will translate me, or should I ask them in Spanish right away?
In Spanish, brother.
In Spanish?
Yeah.
Okay, so the ones from Senkoik, Don Hernán, Doña Lucia, Doña Elizabeth. Acá tenemos una pregunta
de parte del señor Ryan, one of the clients here, who's specifically asking about the blends and how can they be able to do the blends. So in other words, do you from the lots that you handle from the coffee producers, are you looking for a certain profile, or do you have some limits within the physical part of the coffee? And there's only one cupper who's copying all of the coffees to make all of the blends. So I would like you to explain to us a little bit about this, because Lucy would be the best one to tell us a little bit about the tests and all of that. So go ahead. Well, within the part of the blends, basically in here within the territories or the different zones, there are some characteristics that they have to fulfill. As a fundamental part is humidity, so they can be able to have a blend. Basically, we have some similar characteristics here, and basically sometimes they can't be able to generate a micro lot because the quantities that they are giving are not the quantities that we require, so we can be able to offer a micro lot. So basically what the gatherers do is that they classify all of this internally, and sometimes they extract the 3 or 4 kilograms. So basically, what they do here internally is that they have a traceability that's handled here within the billing. And by having this traceability, will know who's giving us this coffee, so we can be able to make this blend. So that's how we are keeping control according to the quality characteristics that are actually required, so we can be able to build up this blend and to finally make this quality coffee. Muchas gracias.
I think this was translated to English for all of the buyers to hear, right? Is that correct, Dave?
Yes. Yep, that's correct.
Okay, that's perfect. Jeff, I'm looking at another question from you. I think you can ask them right away in Spanish. It would be fun.
Bueno, Hernán y Lucía,
selling any of your coffees here in Colombia to toasters, roasters here in Colombia that are selling the toasted coffee here? So within the exercise that we're doing in here in Colombia, for example, in Bogota, we've done only one exercise. So we have been able to do approaches with the coffee shop that Jaime handles there. So we have been able to make our contributions here to this exercise. And this is the internal exercise that we have been doing, but the majority are from exportation. And by contributing to the point of gathering or joining, and basically what Lucia was saying before, and to join the quantity. So there are some producers that make very little. So what we do is that we gather. So one exercise we do it within the territory, within the gatherers, and then we bring them, we coop them, and we classify them. So then we've done some different exercises with the coppers. So basically, if it's only one person, and there's a team of 3 coppers, which are in charge of checking as the coffee starts going in. And when we don't comply with the quantities, what we do is that we gather all of these notes and all of these qualities that we offer to all the different customers. So basically with this here is to help here to the group here. And then when we have the option to favor the micro lots. So basically that's how we help the producer in order to have a better price within this exercise. Have you ever thought of roasting your own coffee without selling it there, and without selling it there in Popayan or other parts of the country? Well, as a cooperative, we have been doing an exercise of a project that it's now for 3 years, by trying to get into the part of tostado and molillos, and basically we've done an internal exercise to try to support the consumption within the territories of a good coffee. And from this, we have been advancing in a regional scale in Cauca. So the objective of roasting here, is to enter in the national level, and then further on to roast coffee and export it. So basically, this is a process that's going little by little, and then seeing the options that we can find, so we can be able to give an added value to all of this. Another question in here, within your opinion, what have you learned in the last years about the quality management, and which are the keys for maintaining or improving the quality, which are of the 16 steps, which are the ones that you think are the most important of all of these, and at least the ones that you're handling here with a different point of view or a different focus point. Basically in here, what we're doing is that we're doing or going ahead with an exercise, a training exercise. And this is the key that we have here in this process of microprocessors. We began with a team of qualities which was trained within this exercise here to transmit all of this to the producers. But we have a lot of producers, and with all of this high amount of producers, we have been advancing in a project of a commercial alliances and training our technical team that we have in the team to be able to find that in each visit they can transmit this knowledge so that the producer can be able to know the benefits of this process. So all of these processes and the benefits and the steps that we have to follow are absolutely important, but we have been focusing a lot in the issue of the drying of the humidity. This is essential, but it's giving us difficulties because in the times of harvest, where in the central harvest is where we have a lot of more winter here in Colombia, and the drying of the coffee is very difficult. So with this project and the other management and the other things that this cooperative is doing is to be able to give materials to dry. And basically in some groups we have done the really big effort of getting some drying locations, some gas silos, and try to train them really well so they can be able to have some good drying and not to get a deterioration in the coffee. Nevertheless, we have to take into account the different steps up to the point where we can give these to the end customer. So the last question here that I have a lot of questions, but we're kind of short with time in here. But basically, what varieties are you growing in there? Are you growing only one variety, or are you growing different varieties, and why? Basically, within the exercise that the cooperative is doing in the level of all the reservoirs, well, in here, we have been trying to find out how we can sustain some traditional varieties that we still have here in the region that is giving us a lot to us here in terms of quality. But, in order to advance a little bit more and to be able to handle some illnesses that have affected us here for the last few years, in a lot of territories, we have been advancing in improved varieties within the coffee and the Castrillo variety. And now that we're promoting the coffee type 1, and also we are advancing in each of these processes. So within all of these times and work and training, we're trying to have the producers not to put to one side the traditional varieties, and we have a variety of seeds in the farm. And for us, we're identifying this in the territories. It's giving us here the point of Senkovid to find all of these notes in the moment of cooping and in the moment of doing censoring. So we want the producer to have different varieties within his farm, and we don't want the producers to be tied only to one single variety. Thank you, Hernan. Thank you, Jeff. This conversation was really interesting.
We are good on
No sé
time.
si estamos bien de tiempo.
Let's talk about one more sample. The next sample is the sample number PG16, and it's from Gregorio Perdomo. And I want to invite to Edmond. Edmond, I didn't hear you today, so please unmute your mic and please share with us your thoughts about this sample. Or maybe Matthew, we didn't hear you neither. So if you want to share with us your comments.
Alex?
Okay. So for this one, I really found they had like a very complex sweetness. this is one that I was just scored pretty high. I gotta give it an 87. Had a lot of notes of cantaloupe, honey, Granny Smith apple, some lemon. So it's overall had a great balance of acidity to sweetness to it, great body to it. So I thoroughly enjoyed this coffee just for its kind of perfect balance to it.
Thank you so much, Alex. I don't know, Maria and Javier. I think we could continue this discussion in the after session moment. So I don't know if we could go ahead with the agenda.
Thank you so much. It was great, the conversation that we had between the buyers and Senkoik. I was able to understand and to know much better how Senkoik works in Cauca. Great coffees. I want to arrive to my house where I have the coffee so I can try one of them. So I think it was all for today. Tomorrow we're gonna meet another organization. Javier is here, but he's not punching in the camera. Tomorrow we will meet Café Norte. Café Norte is the coffee cooperative of the north of Cauca, where they have also offered amazing coffees that we are gonna discuss. So right now we're gonna cut the transmission so we can keep in the Zoom and say freely everything that you want to say, everything that you want to ask to Senkoik or between us, to a craft coffee, to Wood Coffee, or to any other buyer.
Thank you, Maria. Yeah, we will still be connected during the discussions, but I want to say thank you very much for all your participation, because I think that people that are seeing this video online are understanding the concept of the virtual caravan. It was fantastic to listen to your discussions, because for a non-coffee person to listen to you, to hear your questions and your answers. I mean, Jeff was fantastic. I mean, everybody's been fantastic by just asking and saying what they're saying. I think we're achieving the purpose to call this a caravan, a virtual caravan of coffee buyers. And I will please keep on doing the discussions, because we will also want to have some results by the end of the week. We will continue it, but I think from here on, you are not going to be live, even though you acted today if you were not online. So it was perfect. Thank you very much, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon, and see you tomorrow to discuss the amazing coffees of Café Norte.
Okay, bye now.